I love guests like you, like completely surrendered to the process. Whatever comes, comes.
Yeah, like it's the way.
Yeah, because as I said, we will start talking, and then there will be so many fantastic things that we don't record, and that will be such a shame. Also, I stopped doing official openings, like this is this person, I'm this, and it's more like we just chat over a cup of tea or coffee, and people just join us in whenever they click on YouTube or Spotify. So that's the best. It's more informal. Yeah, wabi sabi and informal.
Yeah.
By the way, when I'm talking about talking over a cup of tea or coffee, are you a coffee person or tea person or both?
Okay, now I'm more coffee person. It like haven't been like that for many, many years. I was actually always saying that I'm immune to coffee in the way that, I just don't need it and I can resist coffee because many people for example, in our household, in our home, my mom and my stepdad, they drink like crazy amounts of coffee per day to, maintain like or like keep their function going.
Going. Yeah.
And then it changed, like actually 2 years ago, when life started to be really intense in the way of me being productive and working on my things and stuff and kids, so now I drink coffee.
Okay, to keep you going. Your fuel is coffee. My fuel is tea. Because
Tea?
I just like, yeah, my body just decided coffee is not working for me because it gives me headaches. So yeah,
Ah, okay.
I run on tea totally all the time.
Okay, great.
So we have got lots of things in common. When I researched you, I found out that we have lots of things in common, which confirmed my initial kind of intuitive thing to contact you because you are also a kind of adventurer and explorer of the inner landscape and the inner worlds as well. You have gone through a strong personal story. So why don't I start with the easiest question? Who is Adam Antosh?
You know, this is the hardest one, because it's still changing. And
Hmm.
like there is some kind of, official story. I started to also share with people because I was not attached to it at all. And but I understood that it helps other people to understand me.
Yes.
So
It's
I'm like,
like,
yeah, so that's the guy. He had this like, he was born there and he has these parents and he studied this and he worked like that and it helps them basically maybe to feel more secure about me because they
yeah.
can like grasp something. But from the other hand, when I finished Vipassana 10 days retreat, like I think 3 years ago, and I just went out from there, and it was in Poland. I really recommend this center. It's a beautiful place. I just had this sentence like that I am just like ordinary human who is like trying to learn how to love, you know.
That is nice.
And this sentence is just like with me all the time when I'm aware that I am alive. And um, so this is like answer I like to give. And when my stepfather asked me around like this time when you choose your school, like if you from the primary school, like you go somewhere and so he was like, what do you want to be? And I just said like, I want to be good human. you know
That's a good answer for someone at that age.
it's like 14 maybe. And he was shocked, like he was really like breathing through this answer for some days because he realized how deep it is. And I just spontaneously intuitively said this because no one actually asked me before. So now in this moment I'm just like a happy father of two kids. I'm
Oh, congratulations, because that second one is recent,
Yeah, it's
right? Yeah.
just like doing some noises in the next room. She's 2 months. She's
Oh, bless.
yeah, she's really really beautiful. And I'm Czech, so I live in Czech Republic for a long time. I was traveling a bit, but I mean, I was traveling quite, but like I love my country and I'm here. I work as a guide and facilitator of change for people, helping them to remember who they are and like what's their heart calling, and basically helping them to understand also what's going on, because life is intense and challenging, and we are going through this, like this change of narrative, or like paradigm, and it's when you don't know what's going on, you can be confused a lot, and even though you know what's going on, you can.
You're still confused. But at least it's a more informed way, right? Ah.
So and yeah, like it's really changing. So um, that's somehow in this moment probably like the most accurate answer. And sometimes, like when I am really connected and aligned with myself, I feel this like sacredness living inside of me, and like I feel really like this walking temple. I like somewhere saw it in the past, and this walking temple thing. It's really like when you become walking temple, um, you are really blessed, and everyone who meets you is blessed, and that's something I really want to be. Um, Sometimes maybe I touch it. Sometimes I'm still like, just seeing it as some idea or vision in front of me. Yeah, but uh, that's kind of my goal to see life as sacred, and align as much as possible with it. Yeah.
So what changes for those people that are on that path as well, or for those that want to be and are not yet? What changes when you see and perceive life as sacred and your own body as a sacred place or as a temple?
Mm. Yeah, it's the root of it. You go really straight there with your questions. I mean, in some way, nothing changed. Like you are still human and you still have your daily situations you need to deal with, and you still have your thoughts, and you still have your feelings, and you still have your body. Um, and you still need to go, like keep going, and breathing and waking up every day. And Mm, what probably change is your awareness, and kind of like understanding that everything is alive, and
Mm.
you can be connected with it, and get you develop this kind of respect and honor towards yourself on a deeper level, and towards the life itself and the world and people and animals and everything around you. And you then cultivate it more with every single day. And you have these glimpse of, like maybe even like a little bit transcending moments when you like just watch the leaves and on the tree now with the autumn. I love it. And
Mm, yeah.
my God, this is a miracle. And thank you that I can perceive it. Um, but also, it brings more challenges because you understand that until then, you were just like on the surface of your being and of understanding the reality. And then there is like the infinite whole you can discover, and you find more and more about yourself and about the world. And sometimes it's really challenging and frightening, even.
Mm.
What you can find in these chambers. In
Ooh, this is juicy, and I will come back to it. What I love is that you describe the sacredness, but you also say it's not so easy because sometimes there like our mind as is leading us to, oh yeah, when I perceive everything as sacred, when I reach this point in time and space, everything will be fine, and
Mm.
everything will be resolved and I'll be enlightened and all that. But you said, yeah, it actually opens up. It reminded me uh, one of the scenes from the film Matrix, the first one, I think, when one of the men that basically woke up to the reality is dealing with the agents of Matrix and said, "Oh no, please get me back because I cannot deal with being awake and seeing the reality in all its layers with its shadows as well, you know." So how do you deal with the shadow side, with the intensity, with the challenging bits?
Hmm. Wow, really good questions. I mean, you are like you have a gift to go straight to the essence of things. That's why you do it, I guess, these interviews and stuff. Um, Basically, when I started to realize that everything is different than I thought, and then I was taught to like I had this need to have some kind of anchoring practice. Which basically like unfolded with time, and
Mhm.
I suddenly started to meet, or I was even like, being called to, like, I felt this need to meet with people who I can be inspired from and by, and so I learned some practices and I started to do that. So like meditation, like just observing your breath, and sitting with your breath and with your being, that's game changer. Like it's so soft and subtle.
Mhm.
The change with time is huge, like huge. So I would recommend everyone just to meditate. And then like cold baths, for me
Mhm.
as a man, maybe, I don't know, but like I really stick to it. It's something that can save my day when I'm just
Mhm.
so, whatever, frustrated, I'm dealing with some challenges, then I just dip into cold water, and I am reborn very fast, very very effective.
Brings you right back into the present moment, right?
Yeah,
And into the body.
exactly, into the body. That's the thing. So basically, that's the thing. Like to be connected with your body and to be connected with what's going on in you, it really helps. And then this meditation or other practices of mindfulness and observation really give you this skill of, and really bless all those people who are now experiencing it in physical matter, like in Florida, but like this hurricane, the eye of the hurricane, it's about staying there, and no matter what's going on around you, like there are feelings flying, problems flying, like pain is flying, everything is flying around you. And when you stay and just observe it, that's like really helpful for me, because
Mhm.
in one day it stops or it transforms, or I understand that and I can do something about it. But when it's really present, it's really hard for me to let these things consume me, because then I go really deep into this black hole of whatever is there, like, and some
Mhm.
takes time and energy a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it saps the energy. It's like it leaves us exhausted and takes away our resources to deal
Yeah.
with further stuff. And let's face it, it's being intense, and the intensity is it's ratcheting up with every moment, every week, every month and year. So it's about the resilience.
Mm.
What was your strongest moment that, or memorable moment that you remember in those practices when you just really finally felt it? Oh, that's what's about. That's how it sits in the body.
Mm. I have like this thing that I'm intuitive a lot, and
Hmm.
things I just feel and I do them, and in the time I don't realize, like that it's, for example, doing something, or I just feel that I need it, and I find with time what is actually happening. So this meditation, for example, was a strong realization after many years when I looked back and I was like, oh my God, like my mind and my observation skill is so different. Like I was so lost in the time when before I started, and now I'm so calm, and whatever is happening, I'm just like
Mhm.
I just trust that I can go through it. And so so it's like I didn't have maybe like a big moment.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like it's like a sum of very small everyday steps. And one day you look back and you're like, wow. But you know, I didn't realize that I actually walked so far.
That's awesome point because quite often people when they start these practices, they're expecting the big moment. But as you say, it's accumulation, and it's actually very important to remind yourself that the consistency means that things accumulate. And then when you look back, in retrospect, you see, wow, that has been a huge shift.
Yeah, that's I agree completely with this because like at the beginning, and we call it in Czech like some like a lack of beginner or something. When you start to do something, you're really just starting. There is like this kind of like support you get. So it feels really like, you know, you feel motivated to keep going. And then
Mm-hmm.
it becomes harder. But at the beginning, there is this like thing. So, for example, when I started to do like this breath work, I started with Wim Hof many years ago, and so at the beginning of that, I really felt like impact immediately. I was,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what is this? Like after first session, I was just like it was mind blowing. I felt my
Like
body differently, and
coffee hit.
yeah, like double shot at least. Like it was really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
With meditation, it was much more subtle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get back to one story because you asked me in this question of alignment and like, or what changes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to Portugal, like it was my big journey when I discovered a lot about myself, and it was like a life-changing experience. We visited one special place there, which is designed as this Kabbalistic tree of life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big garden, like a huge garden, and this lady, she anchored kind of like the energies of these different spheres in this tree of life into the garden, and she designed the whole tree like that. And you could like basically go into the spot where is the particular specific energy of this tree, and you could feel into it, or you can connect with that inside of you basically and work with it. And I was just like intuitively because we had just 30 minutes or something on that garden. It was huge, and I was just intuitively running to the spheres which I felt that I need to kind of like connect with.
Mm-hmm.
I did some fast like, okay, I'm here, okay, whatever energy, blah blah blah. And then I meet this woman. She passed away. But at that time she was very old, very wise woman, and and we started to speak about enlightenment. And I said something like, you know, I don't actually seek enlightenment in my life. I am not the one, like the person like who would be like, okay, I will get enlightened in this lifetime. I actually don't care too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she just looked at me and she said, Adam, do you think that you as a person who knows that everything is alive, someone who communicates with trees and you know, walk on this garden in such a with such a awareness that that you are not enlightened, you know, like it's there. And I was like, oh my God, what is she talking about? But then I realized it's really true. Like maybe when we awake, we are basically like there, but it doesn't mean that it's finished. It means that we have actually much more to work on. Yeah.
I like that. It's like the black belt, white belt. When you start as a white belt in martial arts, you are aiming for the black belt to be there where they are already in the mastery. And then you arrive there and you find out that you're actually that's where you're really starting,
But
you
yeah,
know. And that's where
wow.
your black belt becomes with the practice white belt again,
Yeah,
but in the next level.
yeah, that's
So
it.
that's so
That's it
just
completely. And
yeah.
I would not, because sometimes, very often, I need someone from outside who comes and help me with this understanding of things.
Mm.
I really feel them. I have this intuitive, spontaneous, instinctive, like navigation in life. But then sometimes someone comes and says this, and I'm like, oh, you know,
That's what I felt. That's what I'm feeling.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, someone puts it in the words. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The feedback. I find I need it too. It's just you live it from inside, and then someone just puts it in front of you like a mirror. Said, "This is it," and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the view of enlightenment because we have concepts of how enlightenment should be, right? It's very cultural, and we think that yeah, enlightenment is the Buddha or the saint with just sitting there and not really like engaging in life, and that's it, like emanating something. But I like your idea of I like the idea of enlightenment that's is just living, just being what you are, and being within yourself, like living your essence, and everything opens up, and you just experience it and you're with it.
Yeah.
So not this expectation of Buddha under the tree with the
You have it. You have Buddha there next to you, no?
I do, yes.
Hello, Buddha. Like, I mean, don't want to be, how to say, what's the word? Like, to keep myself humble. Like, I don't want to say about myself that I'm enlightenment. I would never say that. She just said it in that time, and it's many years ago, and I actually don't use this story much. But like here, we really touched that word, and maybe the enlightenment, which, like, for example, Buddhist tradition is speaking about, it's something completely different than,
Different.
yeah. And I don't have a clue, but like I really like this idea to be, we are humans, and to be involved with being human, and being aware of that, and being aware that we are part of some environment, and being aware that this environment is a whole living being.
Mhm.
That's already beautiful awareness.
You see why I have next to the Buddha, I have a plant and
Mhm.
I have the cat with the moon.
Mhm.
That's it. That represents that aliveness of everything. Is just the stones, the earth, the sky, the other beings. Everything is alive. Yeah. So yeah, I like that. Um, you know, you mentioned the word, oh, you mentioned the concept of being human a few times now. And again, I will just throw the easy question there. In your experience in your own life, in the context of your own life, what does it mean to really be human?
Mm. Um, for me, is being human really about, like, alchemizing polarities, and being able to, like, witness and live through this paradox. Because when we have polarities, like, for example, this duality we live in, um, I feel that the mystery is really in between. Like, it's a connection of these like opposing forces, which is,
Mm,
for rational mind, it's kind of impossible. But there is a way, and being human who transcend this instinctive animalistic part in ourselves, and also connect with the spiritual realm, which is like just basically living with, aligned with God, um, and still keeping this essence of the authentic essence, the spark, which is very unique for each of us. That's really like the big human for me, like who can really be connected with all the roots and shadows and darkness and stuff, and transcend it, but still like like own it, and then and then being connected with this light and blessings and then expressing it in very unique way. For me, this is and creation, yeah, like very unique creation. And this is like for me human basically 2.0, like which is being born on this planet now. I really feel it. I see it everywhere. This kind of um, massive awakening of individuals who are really uniquely creating their lives and whatever they create, but they are still being aware that we are all one. But it's like kind of guided from within. It's not like a doctrine from outside,
Hmm.
but it's a guidance from within. But we keep it unique. You know, we don't have we are not like same clothes, same practices, same spiritual understandings. Like no, we all have a unique way, but we touch the same source, and we are still humans. We can laugh, we can smile, we can dance, we can cry. We kind of enjoy and appreciate and embrace all of it. It's not
Mm.
bypassing like, oh, I'm now meditate, you know, I like
Now it's time for meditation, and it's a very serious business. And
yeah,
now I am, in the Buddhahood. And
yeah.
next moment I'm going to work, and next moment I'm going to be a husband or wife, and the next yeah, okay.
But still, sometimes being human means all of it.
Doing
Like
this.
that we try to I mean, I need to wake up early because if I don't, I can't do my practice. And if I do not my practice, then my whole day is in different vibe, and I'm not there fully for, you know, myself and my family. So we need to like do these things. But like this transmutation is really like I believe that we are really blessed and kind of honored to be able to experience this spectrum of emotions and
Mm.
like aspects of life here on earth, and we can really perceive it all, and we can kind of alchemize it all into one experience. Like it's so wide spectrum of things we can really live here, and being human for me means to have capacity for all of it and then kind of create something new. Yeah.
I like the word capacity, to have capacity for both. I would like to highlight it. I said
Mm.
I will have a sign that says highlight because
Ah.
it's like, this is it. You have mentioned the capacity for all of it. That means the light and the dark. And there is loads of talk about shadow work. And I think it's not always so well understood or applied. And also, I think that intellectually we might understand it better. And then when it comes to really feeling, going through the darker and the shadow sides, it's like, oh. So how do you experience the shadow work, and what would you say about shadow work? About making capacity for the darkness and for the not so nice and comfortable feelings and
Mm.
states.
Nice question. I really like it because that's my passion. I mean, I didn't choose it.
It
uh,
was you.
Mostly because I needed to use this to basically keep going on this storyline, or I was at basically. It was a tool help like which helped me a lot. Um, it started with some book, I think Feeding Your Demons or something like that. It's
All right. Yes. Short.
yeah, it's many years ago. Like it just came through someone, and I just maybe read one page, and I got these two questions, no, like what do you want and what do you need, and I will go then deeper in it. But like this really started in such a very like it was like coincidence, you know, like someone just brought it and was like, oh, interesting book, like demons. Wow, I opened it maybe because of that word, you know, like. But still it changed my life because shadow work is really for me about like going within and searching for these mm, these fragments of our being who were kind of left on the side or buried, So I like to make example. So if you like just imagine or see our inner landscape, like you said, I really like that. As a as a house, for example, it's a house, and we have like floors where we are used to live, where we live, and or we used to live, or we moved, and we have some floors and some rooms which are really like fine and happy rooms. There's nice.
Clean, sunny.
Yes, and exactly. Nice smell and everything. And then we have rooms where it is a little bit like, oh, I don't like to go there, but I have to. So I like kind of learn how to have these rooms too, but I don't want to spend so much time there, and I close the door and I'm very happy that I left. But then we have rooms we kind of locked and we throw away the key. And
Mm,
we go on, let's say, on the timeline, we go like more to the past, where we experience some trauma, or
mm,
we were like really worried, terrified, humiliated, like whatever happened, which was not nice to us, and we needed to cope with it. We needed to learn how to live with this experience. So basically, what we do to keep going, we use this thing that we lock the experience, and let's say that this fragment of ourselves there, and then we disappear and we never come back, and we with time forget. So shadow work is basically understanding that these fragments of ourselves are still alive, they are still present in our subconscious, or like deeper
mm.
in our being, and are still influencing our life, but not directly, but through subtle thoughts, feelings. Sometimes it's louder, sometimes it's more in silence, but like we still feel it. And it's also projected on our life. So there are situations which are coming back. There are like relationship fuck ups coming back. There are things coming back which we actually don't want to, but they are still happening. And we ask the question, like, what's going on? Why is this happening to me?
Why me?
Poor me, I'm victim of this bad life. But no, you 100% own your life and you created your life. So these parts living in your dark cellar room is basically trying to get in touch with you and be like, "Hey, I'm still here." And
Let us out.
yeah, let us out. And or like, they speak sometimes not in such a nice way with a smile like you have now, but like like they
It's more like, God damn it, let me out or I'll
yeah,
kick your
like,
ass. Yeah.
it's there is like like we have different experiences with this. And so basically shadow work is that you breathe in, you collect all the courage sometimes you have, and you just go there and you open the door, and you with loving compassion way, you just try to basically heal this part, or at least get to know each other, maybe ask a question, or feel it, and basically feel it. Sometimes it's the most important way. We don't have to too much intellectualize about it, but sometimes it's also good. So this is for me shadow work, and I did a lot.
Mm.
And sometimes it's just example from today. Um I will be curious if you will see it, because I didn't tell him today. I had a call with a very good friend, and it somehow happened that um, I'm still like paying him part of the program I went through with him, and it's all fine. We have that agreement, and we talk about it. But there was then some like not smooth experience, and I got pissed off, and da 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 da. We needed to talk through it, and there was some like this thought that I don't want to give him the money back, and. And I really needed to meditate before this call today to settle myself down and be really like, coming from the healthy place, because there was a part who wanted to tell him. So I meditate, and then I was like, okay, so who in me is basically
Mm.
feeling this, that I don't want to give him money back, because from the rational perspective, I owe him. It was a deal, it's an agreement. I would betray myself and him, and stuff. And I just saw this little angry boy who is always still after my story and abusement and everything I went through. When there is a male authority, I have this like projection that it's taking away from me something which is mine, and that
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pain body. It's still like, you know, it's still like residuum, or like, you know, this,
Residue, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
it's still
from
there. Uh-huh.
that trauma, which is
Uh-huh.
like on 95% healed.
Mm-hmm.
But still, in these encounters with men who I kind of feel as authority and I really love them, it's coming. And I need to every time go to this inner child, or to this part of my inner child, and be like, hey, it's all fine. We will make it. It's I understand you, you know, like just make the shadow work basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I would just destroy very important relationship through this. And I don't,
Mm-hmm.
but this is how these shadows operate. They destroy things because they just need care, but it doesn't mean that people from outside should, you know, like give this care. You are the one. Yeah.
You are your own caretaker. And as you said, like which part of me I had to go inside was basically we are a being of a tribe. We have is a tribe in us. We have the different aspects and different identities and people living within us. So
Yeah.
sometimes we just need to go, as you said, inside, find the right one, have the meeting, and do the work. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, that's the difference between being the victim and
Yeah.
the situation controlling yourself, and then you go and burn the bridges that shouldn't be burned,
Yeah.
or you just go within yourself and see, hey, what's going on? So who needs my care
Yeah.
within me, right? Hello, friend, by the way, and thank you for assisting today with shadow work.
Yeah.
Um, do you think, because there is again, there's a lots of talk and lots of work, thankfully, with past trauma, and people are becoming more and more aware of trauma and working with trauma. And then there are two opinions. One is that no matter how much you work on it, it will always stay within you. And then there is the other school that says no, you can heal it all. So, what is your opinion? How do you see this? It's like duality, one or the other, A or B.
Yeah. That's the
C.
thing, you know, like most of the time it's something in the middle, or it's a C, yeah, the answer. Because for me both is true, and it's like really liberating when we stop to look at life as like black and white thing. Because for each of us it's different.
Mm,
Um, Everyone on the path is on a different spot, and for some this is true, and for some it's the opposite, or anything in between. And we really like need more respect and you know, compassion towards the diversity of opinions and the positions of us on this path of healing, and more like kind of connect through things which we really resonate with, and then other things maybe discuss, but like not use it as a fuel for hate and
mm,
distortion in the community or in the society. And that's basically happening, and sometimes I feel that it's also supported by some forces who really wants people to not be connected and united, because it's one of the ways of propaganda, or one of the ways of manipulation, how to, you know, influence societies and countries and people. So my opinion is that it's very great thing when you work on your trauma,
mm,
because you are basically learning about yourself, you are healing yourself, you heal your life, your relationships. And also, I say to my clients, please, before we do any healing or before we do any changes or whatever, you just maybe will be like this till the moment you die. Just accept it. This is you, this is how you were created, you are perfect like that. Maybe you can call it trauma, but this is you, this is your
mm,
story, and maybe you will be like that forever. So learn how to live with it. And then when you really accept that, we can, work on the change or,
Mm.
like, but without accepting who I really am, I think that the change is coming from slightly different place than it should be.
Mm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then it's more like a fight.
Ah,
That
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And
Resistance, yeah.
yeah, and I think that that's not good place for healing. So I'm now shifting last years into this second option you gave me, which is like, like it doesn't matter. You can get stuck in healing and past lives even like forever, and then you don't live actually your life, and you are not
You're
basically
just healing all the time and
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's annoying. And I mean, I got to the point when it became annoying for me also because I'm in this for, I don't know, like 25. So it's like 13, 14 years, very consciously, more before I started little bit. So it's a long time. It's almost half of my life. And, it's getting better. I see results and it's great, but also like, I just want to live, and, it's about balance, and
mm,
now it's for me more like when it really shows up, I'm creating my life. I'm trying to be 100% aware of my creations and be responsible for it. And when something pops up and shows on the way, like some shadows or some traumas or some wound and stuff, I heal it in that moment. But I keep going. I'm not like just, oh my God,
mm,
should I heal, more like, or is there anything? No. Um, and I will just like add one very interesting thing, which is like scientific um, from the science, and actually very like nowadays science. I love Nassim Haramein. He's a very interesting guy who is working on basically gravitation mostly, and um, like how to get energy from the space, like from the continuum of space, like and 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 he has very nice interview in Mind Valley, where he's explaining this, but scientifically, what you ask. Yeah. So he's saying like, imagine that you as a being, you are flying through the time and space on this planet, yeah, and this planet is rotating, and the sun, everything is rotating around the sun, and the sun is rotating, and then we are rotating around the galaxy, and we fly through this vast time and space, and every single moment we uh, have a trace behind us, basically, in that time and space, how it flies. So that's our past, basically, and we fly. And
mm,
now we are, it's very fast, yeah. Like we just moved in last second, like so much in the space. But everything we are now experiencing energetically is imprinted there in that space as a memory, basically. And also we are heading somewhere, and it's a little bit not determinated, but like all this mass is continuously moving, so this direction we can a little bit see where is it going, and it also depends on every single now moment how we decide about our future so that
mm,
we can change where we move.
mm. Crossroads,
Yeah, crossroad
choices.
choices. Every single choice of every single human in every single moment now on this planet is influencing our future for all of us. And so he's saying that you can basically go with your consciousness back on this, let's say, spiral. You can see it maybe differently in
Mm,
meditations, for example. You can go back to the past and come to the moment when something happened to you, for you, and you can change it. For example, give some healing to this shadow part, or like you just forgive, or whatever, and this change immediately to the present moment and then to the future. You basically shift the whole timeline, and he's this guy. He's hardcore science, like.
that's
Uh,
brilliant.
and he said one story which is like too much even for me. But like he said that once the child or kids of the woman he was living with, like the partner, the actual partner in the time, they were laughing about his nose. He has big nose or something. And he said like, okay, you laugh, but tomorrow I will have different nose. And he went to the meditation and he was like 3 hours meditating, going back to the moment of inception or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this guy is sitting there like a science,
Hardcore scientist.
like he's like you know working with gravitation fields and like unified field and like all of this energy and stuff. He's creating technology from it and he just said that he went through to this moment and he influenced the creation of like DNA and his cells and basically his nose and he woke up in the morning and they were frightened when they saw him because he had like I don't know how
Different nose.
but he had different nose. Yeah. And
Hey,
he's,
it
yeah,
that's awesome. That is awesome because actually, part of me, the intellectual or logical part of me would be like, oh my God, that's crazy. But somewhere deeper within me, it's like, yeah, of course. If you go into energy and particles and quantum,
yeah,
um, yes.
yeah. He's
It
one of,
makes sense. It makes sense. But I like that you can describe it in absolutely hardcore, scientific, technical language, or you can go the other part. You could use a sacred language or poetic language. You know, like,
yeah,
but the core is the same. And what you said there was nice because you said, "Oh, he went inside and changed something outside." Because like he works with technologies, of course, but he works with internal technologies as well as external technologies. And once you go into nature, it's all there. So
yeah.
fantastic! Thank you for this story. Listen, when or do you remember the time or the point what actually got you onto this path of yours?
Hmm.
That
Um,
is, if it wants to be spoken about right now.
yeah, of course. But thank you for that. So there were like more moments which kind of like it was like a momentum building up in my life. And
Hmm.
I remember first one was when my mom, because my mom was the one who kind of introduced me in these things, very early age. And she, she had this book about chakras. Everyone knows it, I think, from the spiritual community. It's a very small book, and there are like just chakras on the front cover, and it's
I
basically
know it. I
uh,
know it. Yes, it's the Czech one. Yes.
yeah. And
Uh,
so I was like, oh my God, what is this? And there was something like you can work on yourself. And this thing stayed with me for years. I was like, I was very, very young, and I was like, what, how? Like, what does it mean? Like, how I can change or work on myself? Like, I mean, inner self. So should I like, go with my arm and move something? That was my understanding. And
yeah.
so this kind of started the curiosity. What does it mean to heal ourselves, work on ourselves? And then uh, I was basically really unhappy. And there was one moment when I realized that I need to change my life. I was like, I had a partner. We lived in our like apartment, and I was having a job, and I was playing games a lot. I was smoking weed a lot. I was like just this normal guy. uh, and one day I realized that I'm really not happy at all.
Mhm.
I need to change something, and I did. I sold my computer, which was big thing because I built it that computer by myself. I was in IT in that time, and it was like I loved that. It was my lifestyle, like gaming and stuff. And I started to drink just water. I finished with like I ended up like with all the like alcohol or even teas or like like sweet like things and stuff, and I just drink water and then it started to change in next years. I realized many things, and this was like very important moment. And then there was another one, which is the answer also for you. You ask about some significant moment on my path, or where I realized, wow. So there was one actually, and it was when I was really deep in the healing of my trauma with this abusement, and it it was like I was not able to function basically in that time because it just kind of all went out from like it was just I was just purifying and cleaning and purging all
Mm.
these emotions and this pain and stuff. And I'm like somewhere in the Prague in this apartment, and I'm just like my ego collapsed. I didn't know, anything about myself. I didn't know what's my favorite color, food, what I like to do, who I like. I didn't know anything about myself. I was just like, I don't know what is this life about? Who am I and stuff. And in that moment, I was so lost that in the first time in my life I found God. I was like, okay, so if there is everything gone from my life, so there must be something which I'm created from. And I started to call God in. I was like, okay, God, so tell me what is this about? Like, I'm here, I'm just yours. Like, I gave up basically on everything and I started to return to God. And I think that that was like really important moment in my life because now God is like like a priority in everything I do.
Okay, I'll have to. It is important now to do this, but when you say God, that word in any language has got a loads of kind of heavy charged and what would we say, lots attached to it, and it's usually to do with dogma. I
Mm.
mean, it could be any religious dogma, depending on where you come from, which culture you come from. So, what does God mean for you when you say the word?
Hmm. You know, it's really hard to explain this.
I have only easy questions for you today.
Yeah, this one is the
This one is the.
because we touch the mystery really, and
Mm,
it's so hard to explain verbally.
mm,
I mean, for me, it's the highest instance and intelligence behind all the creation. Um, but it's not behind; it's in it.
mm,
It's embodied in the creation, and it's kind of like this platform which we are all occupied with our lives and we live on that and everything is living there and we just experience um whatever we experience to add to it, like it's like I really resonate with this story. It's I think Hindu or like that, the god and Maya and then this like decision that every spark of the little pieces of God are spread into every living being and then the god actually experience itself through the being and
mm,
collect these experiences. So this is I really like that. That's basically like my kind of paradigm, if I would
mm,
say it in words. But there is something bigger than just this intellectual understanding, it's more about feeling
mm,
is building up with life and experiencing God's presence or the sacredness and like these miracles which happens when you start to heal yourself, um that you realize there is something so bigger than me or everything else because it's so divinely orchestrated how everything is somehow making sense and it's so huge and vast that I just want to be friend with it.
mm. Yes. And the mind scrambles, the intellectual mind, the logical mind, just conceptual mind struggles to catch this and somehow put it in the words. But as you said, he's like, I am part of this and I want to be part of it.
Because I also understood and from very like also selfish understanding or point of view, like when realized that more and more I walk towards this and try to discover and make a relationship with it, more happy, healthy, abundant, and easier life I have. Like it's somehow connecting me to better life. I mean, it's challenging. Sometimes on this path we need to face really deep, dark, like shit we have.
Oh, encompassing word. Yeah, you will all understand what we're talking about. You just need shit, you know. You just have to deal with lots of shit in the world and yourself. That's true.
It's a really good word. I mean, I like English. So it's quite simple.
To the point.
Yeah.
So this divine source, this sacredness, this aliveness, that everything springs out of and is part of. You mentioned love at the beginning. How does that connect and relate? Because you also said you are building relationship with this source, let's say, or God. You are building relationship with yourself, and through all your practices and worldview, you are building relationships with others. And I know you actually teach it, and you're preparing some course to do that as well. I saw on your Facebook.
Mm.
So how does love kind of relate to all this?
Mm, I think that it's like it equals, like it's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's definitely one aspect of it, but for me it's very close to each other because love towards me means that I want to get to understand myself, you know, like I wanna be happy for my body to feel good. I wanna have a good environment. I wanna feel just nice, and the same I want from others who I love. So that's basically uplifting the experience for every one of us when we are loving beings. And the love I experience from like life itself and creation in these moments when I really can perceive it, it's infinite and it's unconditional and it's huge. And so I feel this love in myself and I see it like kind of out there, and I think it's very the same thing. For me, the love is answer as same as the God is answer. Um, and you know, I didn't know. I mean, I for a long time I haven't been connected with love at all. I thought that I am, but I was connected to sexuality, and I thought that that's love. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so when this shifted, and I suffered like it was like a hell, like to move to my heart, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I realized that unconditional love is real, that you really can love yourself or someone else, even though, for example, someone else is not filling your desires or it's not there for you, it's not even like present, but you still can love it and you still can wish all the best for this person. So this is how I see also God, you know, like he just loves us all, and he's happy when we are happy, but he's also like he knows that we need to go through a lot on the path of love, and he, you know, like this father love, for example.
Uh-huh. I like that you said that he, yeah, and in me was answering she.
And,
Here we have the polarity of the women's and men's paths.
and this is like, you know, this is really something that's going back to everyone is right in the in some
Yes.
way, because when I went through this shamanic journey, it was like at the beginning when I started to study shamanism, like 2010, 12, something like that. We went for one journey to meet God, and it really was this old guy for me in the journey. I traveled, and then I was somewhere out of in the space in the universe, like it was black and stars and stuff, And I reached this kind of little platform, which was because we have this like archetype of God sitting on the cloud, you know, like this whole.
The male with the
Yeah,
white beard and
yeah.
yes.
So I really met this kind of guy there. And I was then asking a question like, hey, is it just because I'm programmed like that? So, for me, it's maybe he, or I say it in my language because, you know, I'm from mid Europe. Like the Christianity was really like strongly influencing for centuries here. So yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Do you know, I had no resistance to you saying he, because I know that in me at that point resonated the she that was making it a wholeness, the yin yang thing. And as you say, in some ways, this divine or sacred or greater power comes through to us through how we need it. So if it comes as she or he or a big cat,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. The quality is what,
Yeah.
but wherever you are on your journey, whatever you need in whatever form, in whatever word you need it provides. So yeah, no, it's
I,
great. Uh-huh.
this is really like you hit the very important moment of my path. So when I was going through this healing of abusement, um, I realized in one vision, or I was on the tree standing looking in the on the horizon, because I was climbing trees a lot in that time, and I saw the abuser, and I saw and I understood that our souls just had agreement that this will happen, um, because we will grow through it, and
Mhm.
and no matter how sick or evil it can look from the human perspective, if we are open to more perspectives, we understand better what's going on. And in my personal case, it was like this abuser, I had agreement with him that he will come and do this to me. So God is here for even these things. God can come through this person in this form and kind of provide me this experience, which like majority of people judge, and even this abuser should be in the prison or stuff. But for me, this understanding helped to actually heal myself and
Mm,
forgive, because I was like, oh my God, I am the one who was orchestrating this, and God just helped me through this other person to, you know, to go through it. That's really
mm.
strong,
It
strong.
is. It is, and I can understand that on a certain level and in a certain part of the process of life, some people might say, "Oh, this is so wrong," but here we touch one of the strange rules of the universe or the sacred, that all is truth and nothing is truth, depending on the context and from where you are in the process. Because on some level, uh, we are never saying we condone what happens, but you're saying, on some level, when you get to these layers, you understand that you hired a coach. In some ways, you can say that. When I hired a mentor, a coach, it wasn't a nice experience, but it was important experience. Like in the therapeutic book from Sultrim Aliona, the Feeding the Demons, the two questions: what do you want and what do you need?
Yeah.
Two different things. So it is interesting, just like when you go through the process of becoming more aware, you are also growing into more layers of understanding and looking at things from different perspectives and different layers. So everything is truth and nothing is truth.
Yeah, and it's important for me that you respect and honor all of that layers. I mean, you are there fully with all the layers, because sometimes, like I was bypassing myself a lot. So I was like fine with these like higher truths, but I was not like giving enough honor and appreciation to the also truth of my body, truth of my human, side, truth of this and that, and I needed to take responsibility for all of these layers.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
back to becoming human, it's great that I can heal trauma and release and forgive and see these higher perspectives, but also it's important to honor all the other layers. So if I would ignore this little boy in me today who was angry about, giving back this loan, I would not honoring it. I would not be connected with it, and then this part would make a really a lot of mess in my life. Yeah.
And in some ways, this is almost self-abuse because you can look at it from this kind of perspective and angle, but you would be neglecting that part of yourself. So that is sort of abuse. You would be like not fulfilling its needs for care and being seen.
Yeah.
And as individuals that are made of a tribe or of many aspects, we need to be seen and heard, and we need to see and hear ourselves first. Then each aspect, especially the ones that
Mm.
that are asking for it, that are kicking our asses to need it the most. That's true. Oh, there is so many ways we can take this, and I can see we are sort of running into an hour now that we have spoken, and I think we can continue because I have lots of questions. We can go deeper with this. We can look at you working with sound and music, as I say, fatherhood, the male path, the lion's heart and everything. So how about we looked at part 2?
At part two.
Part 2 interview. So we finish it here about this time and we reconvene next time and continue with all these kind of directions. Would that work for you?
Yeah, I'm happy to
Cool.
do that. I really enjoy it. I like your questions a lot.
Thank you. And I love your answers. Listen, before we conclude today, then, is there anything that is still asking to be said here in this space, in this time?
It's a very wise question. Um, I mean, like I really see that we as a being are so powerful, um, and we sometimes really don't understand or we are not aware of it. Or sometimes we are, but we are using it in a direction which is like not supporting the highest good of all the beings on this planet. And for me, I really see now the strong need of people like realizing how beautiful and powerful we are. And I'm saying this also to myself, and that we really have a like power to change things and to influence things and to create a better future. And it starts with today. It starts with tomorrow. And I see, for example, in Czech Republic, and I'm sad about it because there is so much like distortion in society and people, so much hate and pain and poverty, and like it's growing in these extremes. And we are living in really important times. And all of it is happening for the better future. And it doesn't look like that, maybe. It doesn't feel like that, maybe sometimes, but it is. It is like this birth canal we are going through. And it's painful, it's full of unknown, and you just need to surrender and do what you feel. And and now it's really like that. We go through this birth canal together, collectively, individually. And I just want to empower and kind of cheer up all of us to keep going and don't give up, because it's really just like behind the corner. I feel it. It's in the air. It's like really like the change is here, and we worked on that for so many years, and it's sometimes like very frustrating and we are tired and stuff, but like don't give up. It's like the hardest part is always the last moment when,
Mm.
before sun is going up. It's just like it's
Yeah,
the darkest moment.
the
And
darkest time before the dawn.
yeah,
Yes.
and we are really there now. Like it's there. And I'm not a guru, I'm not like prophet or whatever, and just don't listen to me basically. But like if it resonates with you, um, then it's for you because mm, I see also such a beautiful momentum just in
Mm.
Czechoslovakia, what's going on, what beautiful project and cooperations and networking is going on and happening. It's unbelievable. And it will show up very soon in much bigger numbers, or I mean, it will be just more visible for normal mainstream people.
Mm. Mm.
So don't give up, just keep going and breathe and do what you need to do and really trust it because yeah, we need every single one of you, like so thank you for being here for the that I could be here and for your time and your questions and that's it.
Well, thank you for making the time and space and for all the answers and for jumping straight into it, even though the questions weren't an easy ones. But then I knew that you don't need easy questions. And yeah, let's keep the hope alive. Let's keep the momentum going. And as you said, about the meditation, consistency accumulates, and then we will go back and we'll see how far we have shifted. So let's keep going. And thank you for listening to us. And you have something to look forward to next time for part two.